Hi friends! Today's video is a little different. I wouldn't label it as a get ready with me or review. I would like to refer to this as a super deluxe mashup review plus a tutorial. I'll explain further, but if it's your first time here, hi, I'm Alicia. Thank you so much for clicking on my video. And if you are returning, well, thank you for visiting me again. Kinkysweat stands for my kinky hair and sweat life. I'm a fitness professional who loves things all movement and beauty. If you want to check out what I do in between the makeups, you can head over to my Instagram. I'm calling this a mashup because there are several things I want to do first impressions on, to review, and so on and so forth. I don't know if I have the time to film individual videos for these items, so I thought just integrate as many as I can in one video. That is the master plan. Of course, we'll be featuring the Byredo. I said Byredo, but I believe it's Byredo. The Prismic Palette that I did a first impressions on. I went further into the brand. So if you want to see more details on this palette, I will link that video up above and down below. I wanted to hop back in because I was inspired to create more looks with this palette, especially if you had purchased it and you're like, that is, it's a lot of color. I don't know what to do. Secondly, I wanted to review the Beautylish Yano Series Eye Set. I was beyond pleased to see that they were releasing eye brushes, and I had kind of predicted that based on the success of their face set. I do have a video dedicated to the Yano Series face set. I'll also link that video up above and down below. Thought, why don't I use these brushes exclusively with the Prismic palette so that we could get an idea of how they work, especially with shades like these. Somewhat of a mini haul of 3 of the Hermès lipsticks. Yeah, I got them. This isn't the first time, fam. I've purchased Hermès last year. I was completely and utterly enchanted by their recently released limited edition spring shades. So not only I bought one shade from Hermès, I just had to keep the box because it is just charming. I bought 2 of the limited edition shades from Nordstrom and 1 poppy lip shine that's not actually like a satin or matte. I think it's more like a sheer lip gig. And I got the freaking brush. This brush, I believe, is like $75. What is wrong with me? I had to get it. The color blocking is, and I saw that they're releasing blushes. They look a little light. They look a little soft. I don't know if they'll be buildable. And I also peeped that cheek brush too with the color blocking handle. That is the plan for this video. And of course, all timestamps will be down below if you wish to just maybe skip over to the tutorial. I'll organize this as best as I can. So why don't I start off with the brushes? We'll get into those details first and then I'll roll in to the Prismic Palette tutorial. Hopped onto the Beautylish website. The whole set retails for $180, significantly less than the face set, which retails for $475. Not only could you get the whole set, but you could also purchase these eyeshadow brushes individually, or you could get the Big Mama set, face set, and eyes for $655. That's a lot of money. Let's start off with brush number 6. This retails for $40 and it is the large tapered eyeshadow brush. Disperses color with a flawless finish and sumptuous feel. It says here that it's multi-purpose and I immediately detected that just from the shape alone because I thought about the Surratt Grande. Now, Surratt does have a medium-sized brush that I think resembles that of the Yano 06. And here's the Wayne Goss Artist brush in small. You see that it's slightly bigger. I think significantly bigger. So if I were to put this over here, the large tapered from the Yano series, I think is the smallest and Surratt the biggest. And of course, between these two, Wayne Goss being in the middle. Gray Squirrel, so that means we're going to have a really nice soft wash of color. I think ideal for those who want more washes of color for their eye looks versus like heavily pigmented looks. For that, I would suggest a synthetic brush, a undyed goat hair brush. Those natural hair and fibers will definitely pick up more product, will lay it down heavier. Silky natural fibers are bundled by hand for perfect balance of shape. As you know, Japanese made brushes, which these are all are, The hair fibers are bundled by hand, which lends a softer feel, a more silky blend, and overall just a better experience for your eye makeup application. Next up, we have the number 7 tapered eyeshadow brush, and this one retails for $38. The airy flexible bristles of brush 7 reach deep into the crease, ooh, that tickles, to define and add dimension with ease or to pull color across the entire lid. Try it for pinpoint highlighting and contouring. You'll never go back, they said. Well, and quickly revisiting the large, I believe a part of their product description was the fact that you can use this to set your concealer or to also pinpoint highlight for the cheekbone. And here are the large and I guess I would say standard side brushes together. Really beautiful flow. And I'm sure you see a brush like this and you wonder, what can you possibly use the shape for? As it was just described, the pointed tip makes it just seamless for that crease application, especially if you have smaller eyes. And because it's tapered, you're going to get that product application, but then the tapered edge will diffuse the product thereafter, and the end result will be blurred and flawless. Up next, we have the 08 blending for $32. Unfortunately, this kind of rested strangely in my brush roll, so I'm trying to get it back. This has a rounder edge at the top. You see is a rounder brush. This is Gray Squirrel and Psychoho Goat. Really great blend because the Chikuhoro Z11 is all Gray Squirrel, and because of that it's going to have a softer pickup and just a lighter blend. Number 7, which we just went over, is all Gray Squirrel. I'm happy to learn that the 08 is a mixture. Here's the Chikuhoro Z11 blending brush, still slightly bigger than the Yano, I think. Longer bristles, but still round at the top. And of course, because this is all made of squirrel hair, it has a lot more of a silky feel. The Psychoho Goat, I think, gives a little more grip to the blend and as well as have more pickup, definitely. Blend your eyeshadow to a soft wash with brush number 8, a dome shaped, yes, domed indeed, blending brush designed with the perfect balance of softness and density because of the Psycho Goat. The cashmere-like bristles distribute shadow effortlessly without muddiness or patchiness. Don't like any of that. Up next, we have the 09 flat blending, and this retails for $35. It features a flat silhouette with a gently rounded tip that softens harsh lines. Look at that. And edges in a few strokes used to blend, shade the curves of the socket or lay down color for more intensity. Definitely one of the more versatile brushes in the set. This is all Gray Squirrel, and as they outline, really great for that simple wash of color across the lid. Ideal for lower lash diffusing and placement. Dare I say, you could even get away with inner corner highlighting if you wanted to, and also crease placement. I understand the 6 and 7 were designated crease blenders, but you can definitely use this one to pull across the lid. Here it is up against the Wayne Goss 06 brush from his original set. I have to say the Wayne Goss has a little more pushback than the Yano Series brush. I think the Yano Series also might have more bristle. It just appears fluffier to me, and I think because of that makes it a little more versatile in use. Whereas I could get away with blending my crease shade with the Wayne brush, but when I use the Yano, there's just more glide there, a little bit more fluff, which again I think ideal either for lid color placement or crease diffusement. And last, we have the number 10 pencil, retails for $35. Features a precise tip and exquisitely soft bristles that won't irritate delicate eyes, glide it along the lash line, or gently smudge your eyeliner to add a smoked out effect. This is very nice. I thought about the Byredo shadow brush. I'm so sorry, it's the KK something. This has a rounder tip, and the Yano series much more of a point in terms of the design. And dare I say, I mean, I love this brush because I think I might have already uploaded my video. It is so versatile and unexpectedly superior to blending, simply because I assumed its tasks, but it definitely surpassed my expectations. This, I feel I could get away with some crease blending, but I think because it's a little more tighter packed, I wouldn't necessarily rely on this for crease blending, but I'm sure if you have smaller eyes, you could definitely get in there and be successful with a little bit of placement there. Definitely ideal for the lower lash line. And this is also made all gray squirrel. Ideal for inner corner highlight or even inner lower lash line, like, you know, how I love to do with that spotlight of color. So those are all the brushes, fam. Again, if you could get them in a set, you could get them individually or just not get any of them. I have already applied my foundation, concealer, and some contour. I thought, why don't we take the opportunity to then use the number 6, the large, apply some Piaja, taking the LYS Triple Fix pressed powder in Resilience, the translucent. How dare I? Why don't you come in a little closer? That's enough. I mean, the pointed tip is ideal, especially if you're one to not rely heavily on powder for under eye setting. This just takes it right where you need it, right here on the most inner part of the eye, and makes it seamless to apply. You could also do the same with number 7, much smaller, and therefore will deposit a lot less product. But if that's what you're looking for, then hey, around the nose you can go with the brush, throughout the forehead, and again, if you want to use the bigger one, you can do so. If you feel you crease a lot around the mouth, you could definitely apply some product there. Now, is it ideal for all over? Probably not, but I think you get away with some complexion tasks as well as the eye application ones, and just use one brush for all of them. For bronzer, let's see here. Going in with the number 6, I want to place it on its side so I could get a more even application. I mean, I did it, you know. Would it be my go-to brush to use? Probably not. I will use my Yano Series 02, which I absolutely adore. But if worse comes to worse and I only had this brush, I'll get it done. Let me hit the other side. I'm placing the bronzer right on the brush's side so I don't get this sharp edge when I apply the bronzer on the tip of the brush. Instead, I rely on its side for more even distribution so it doesn't look as harsh. Dare I say, you could get it down on the jawline as well. And here too, we could definitely now use the tip of the brush to get a little bronze on the inner part of the nose, or outer part of the nose, inner part of the eyes. Very nice. And now with the number 6, going in with Mama's Divine Rose highlight. Exceptionally easy for highlight application, but do keep in mind this is gray squirrel. It's not going to have a heavy pickup like dyed or undyed goat hair, but I think ideal if you don't like a lot of highlighter anyway. You want a softer application of color, the intensity to be intermediate, to be moderate. This is number 7 now. In the same fashion, if you want a more precise, like pinpointed application, then definitely the number 7. I mean, it gets it right where you want it to go. It doesn't spread too far down or up. I haven't done this in a while, but you could definitely hit the nose with it. Lip, pull it across the brow bone. Little chin. I love me a multi-purpose brush, friends. Now, of course, the limitations with this brush set is, of course, because it is either gray squirrel or undyed psycho goat, these are limited to powder products. You will not be able to use them with cream or liquid. If you tried, you will destroy the bristles. So I would recommend, if you love to go into more indie types of shades, like the heavy pigmented stuff, which we are doing now with the Prismic palette, but if you typically use those types of shades, I would then use a brush that I could clean more often than one made with gray squirrel, because synthetic brushes can take a better beating. You can wash them more often, which is recommended when you use heavily pigmented shadows, so the shadows won't stain the brushes. Whereas for undyed goat and gray squirrel or another hair type, it's recommended that you wash your brushes once a month and not weekly like you would have to if you're using them frequently. All right, demo number 1, going into the Prismic palette. I want to try, I'm trying to remember what I did last time so I don't repeat myself. Now, in terms of how to approach this, you have 3 different finishes in here. You have the matte, you have like this glitter hybrid, and you have more of the metallic. I find that the mattes are very soft. They have nice color to them, but they apply more like washes of color that I think it very easy to use. Let's go in with Medusa using the number 8. Whisking that in the crease. The number 8 immediately upon contact with the skin. I mean, incredibly soft. And I'm just building it lightly here so I could get an idea of what I want to do. If you want to see how the number 7 works, going back in with Medusa, and it gets it right there into the crease. But again, the tapered shape makes it very easy to blend the shadow without overdoing it. And of course, because of this sharp tip, incredibly easy to wing up the shadow with. I mean, you see. Number 9 with the same Medusa shade. This is the fluffy flat brush, which I think ideal to place shadow right under the lash line. Now we could go with the blue, we could keep it exclusively green. I'm gonna go in with the blue, which is called Dart Frog. Did I read that correctly? Yeah, Dart Frog. Let me pat that down on the outer edge of my lid. What I appreciate about these mattes is that when you apply them together, when you layer them, they don't turn muddy or, they don't transform into like a weird brown. And of course, you should keep your color theory in check anyway. But I just love how they wash over each other. They feel very lightweight on the skin. And I think very easy to blend. Like this took no time at all. And I just love how these colors look together. Very soft, but still impactful. I'm going to hold off on the lid for a moment because now I want to go in with this red, which is called Clay Court. A nice red. I really like it. I was actually quite surprised when I applied it. It's softer than, let's say, the red that I have used in the Melt palette, the Muerte palette, I think. I forgot which one it was. But I'm pretty happy for this tone of red, considering that it's not super powdery. I feel like high pigmented reds tend to be a little powdery, found in more indie-like brands. But this is just so soft. And because of that, you could definitely put this on the cheeks, I feel like. If you're a deeper skin tone, Chihuahua. The pink. With the number 7, but now using the brush lightly to blur the edges of Clay Court. I love using this brush just on the edge of your shadow. It just makes it so easy. If you lay it on its side and just let the brush design guide your blend, putting a little more of Chihuahua here on the inner part of the eye, so you could detect more of that pink. Why not? Let's go in with the number 10, the pencil brush. Let's go in with the metallic. This is Sophisticat. One of the really nice metallics in here. Ooh, so smooth. So beautifully smooth. Pull it across the lid, combining with what's going up top here with Clay Court. And I want to get in a little bit of flush. Now, the only thing I would say, because this has a really sharp tip, you could get away with inner lower lash line placement, but it's going to drop a little low because this is not the smallest pencil brush. If you want more of a precise placement of color, then I would rely on a much smaller brush, which this set does not have, unfortunately. I understand they wanted to include 2 different sizes of the super tapered, but I feel smaller eyes might need a smaller pencil brush. And what can we do for the highlight? Well, we could go in with Venus. And this is the more glittery types of shades that I wanted to speak upon, because when you feel this, it's definitely drier. It's definitely drier in consistency. And if you wanted to wet it, I would just switch the brush because you can't wet these. Use either a synthetic brush or undyed goat hair brush. Go in with your Fix Plus or whatever you use to wet your shadows with to get more of a slicker finish. But I do love the texture because it scatters on the shadow and it just has beautiful twinkle when it does. And going over the bottom lash line, and also we can use the number 7 the very tip of the brush is going to lightly manipulate the shadow, not overly so, just enough. If anything, I will go in with my finger. Let's go Communion. It's more of like a reddish pink. And for this, I'm applying, you know what? No, use number 9, the flat round, right on the center. Now, this is not going to pick up as much as my finger. You see how light it is? If you want that, if you're like, I don't want that much color impact from the get, Alicia, anyway, you're going to pick up a lot more with your finger. And I think it's because, also remember, this is Gray Squirrel. And I believe this formula, the glitter hybrid formula, just benefits better from a finger pickup. So if you want it more shine and more saturation, definitely use a finger and not the Gray Squirrel brush. Now we got to come back over here because I want to use this shade. I believe this is Slogan. No, Chlorine. Chlorine is pretty. I'm placing it here more on the inner part of my eye. This is one of my most favorite shades in Prismic. It's like a beautifully shiny mint. And now I'm going to go in with Slogan, the more aqua blue, but drape it over the green and lightly over the blue matte. I think it just melts so just elegantly together. And of course, I want to go back in with my number 7 with the green shade. I think this is Medusa, and just whip it in towards the nose. So easy to use with this brush. Back in with the number 10. Deciding what I should put here. I think I'm going to go in with Winner. Let's try Winner. This more a coppery gold shade. Getting a little bit of fallout because these shades tend to be a little drier. But I don't mind because I feel it just yields a lighter look to the eyes. Of course, use my number 6 just to whip any fallout, but we didn't get too much. All right, here's the finished look. I went a little overboard there. Sorry, tappity tap. We have like the blue-green story on this eye with a little bit of the gold on the lower lash line. We have more red, pink, and this metallic I love. It has such beautiful glow to it, but I'm just stoked about the red matte because I don't know what it is. It just makes it less intense to wear. Maybe it's the tone or the texture. And now for the lip, I actually had it on. Let's just pause for this exquisite packaging. You have the box, has Hermès, but in the box you have another box. Classic Hermès. I believe this is like their signature orange color. You slide it out and you have the lipstick encased in this potato sack bag with the Hermès logo right at the top of the cap. And look at the component. This to me, please. I believe this is a satin shade. I'm not even gonna say the price aloud. I'm not. The Hermès lipsticks, I believe, comes in matte satin and like the lip shine texture. This is beige ébloui. Number 17. This is the satin finish. Look how beautiful that is. These are limited edition, by the way. Just wanted to let you all know. The Amber Caress of Warm Sand. A light-filled satin finish lipstick with a shimmering glow. Yeah, it has a little bit of glow. Its texture, as fine as it is rich, delivers vibrant, long-lasting color, offering softness and comfort. It does lean a little more pink, but I don't mind it because it's still, I think, beige in feel and tone. Of course, I could put on a lip liner to create a little more contrast. This is my Natasha Denona I Need a Nude liner in Noah. It just kind of gave it a little more structure. Yeah, I really like it. I like it better in person than I do on camera. But I also wanted to share that I bought a Rouge Dior lipstick as well. $4.49. Dasante. This just turned into a haul. I love this shade because it's a lighter beige, but hello. Together though, with the Hermès right here in the middle. Oh yes, that's exactly what I needed. Do you have to buy both? No, absolutely not. But I'm just saying, if you did, you could do what I just did. Here's a finished look of round one. I'm trying to think of how I can combine the shades for the second round to match up the other lipsticks with. Or we could just keep it as simple as possible so we could see like the more red and the coral. The feel of the lipstick is amazing. It has a little bit of a fragrance to it. Not overwhelming. I wouldn't say it's definitely not vanilla. Can't really identify the type of profile this lipstick rests on in terms of how it smells. I don't mind it because it's Hermès, okay? But combined with the Dior, I really like. I don't think it's an ideal color for me to wear exclusively, maybe because of the eye look that I have on. Perhaps it will be more suitable for a lighter makeup moment where I don't have the heavy colors on the eyes. I just have more like blush going on. I think very spring appropriate. Oh, and of course, in case you didn't know, these lipsticks are made in Italy. Is the Dior one as well? Oh, the Dior is made in France. Just in case if you're wondering. All right, fam. Let me get this off and I'll be right back. Round two. I want to go in with the purple again, but I know I did. I used the purple in my first impress. We got to go in with Lager, the yellow. Just straight in with the number 7. Like a light wash of yellow. But I think perfect to use with this brush because, again, the tip gets nicely into the crease and the rest of the brush, because of its tapered design, diffuses everything else. And now I just want to go in with, I believe, I keep forgetting, Winner, just all over the lid. Winner is definitely one of the drier textures for the glitter formula, and I believe Venus has a little more. So you see how this doesn't have as much shine as Venus. I think because Venus is more of like the metallic versus this being a little drier like the glitter, whereas Winner I feel is more of like that glitter formula. I'm picking up my Isom W23 because I don't want to ruin my Yano brush, so therefore let me pick up more of Winner and then I'll wet it with some Max Fix Splash. See what that does. Oh, yes. There we go. Much better. Yeah, you definitely get more shine if you wet more of the glittery shades first. I mean, that looks wet. And then going in with more Lager to blur the edges. I used the olive in my first impressions demo clip that I included in that video. I now want to go back in with the purple. I need to give the purple another shot because I underestimated its pigmentation. So I'm going back in with the number 8, I believe. Yes, number 8 I really like. The goat hair and squirrel blend I think is ideal. Because if you want more impact, but you want that soft blend, okay, that's pretty. That's a nice shade we got. And the number 8 brush, I mean, the dome shape, I feel, if you have bigger eyes, I think dome is more ideal because it covers more surface area at once and it just feels really nice on the skin when you're taking circular motions for your blend technique. Anime. I like that. Definitely on the inner part of the eye, it is like a lavender twinkle with silver sparkles in there. So frosty, but it's so fun. Convertible, which is the deeper purple, but with that, I'm going in with my 09, placing that on the outer part of my lid. So this is more of a monochromatic story, or this I think, like a Lakers fan, this is more of a monochromatic story on both eyes, I feel like. But you see, if you don't wet the glitter shades, I feel like it's too dry to keep blending over. You have to make sure you're not going to blend over it. And with that said, you want it to stick more, then I would wet it and then go back over the section that you needed. So ideally, I think these brushes will work better on like suku-like textures, really soft, because these shimmers, if you want to manipulate them, you will have to wet your brush. For instance, if I were to just hop over to Sumina Deshiko, if I were to use one of these shades, like it just picks it up a lot better and it's a lighter wash of color. So am I saying you have to use the Yano series brushes with your Prismic palette? Absolutely not. I just thought I would use them together because I wanted to show them on camera anyway. I'm gonna take Flush with the number 8, 9 onto the lash line here. Because I like the pink on the bottom and you got more of the purple on the top. But I will take the purple matte, I believe this is Bruise, with the pencil brush, number 10, and bracket the outer part of the eye here to create a little more intensity. But what shall we do for the inner part of the eye? I guess we could go in with this one. This is more of like the periwinkle hybrid. I'm placing that on not only the inner corner, why not, but on the lower inner part of the eye. And the way it combines with the purple shades, especially Anime, which I'm going to tap more on, I think these require a stickier base as well. Perhaps you could experiment with that too. What do I want to do with this eye? I kind of like the exclusive golden jam we're having here. I mean, you could go back in with the yellows, you could go with the pink. I think that would be a fun bracket of color to place under the eyes. But to keep it simple, I'll just go back with Lager with the number 9 brush and just place it under the lash line here. And why not? Let's do a little wing. Hold on, wait. I just got an idea. Hold on. Why don't I use the Suku orange liner? I'll just lightly go over what I did. All right, that's a very long wing. It's okay. All right. Put on these lashes. And here's the finished look with round 2. I love the yellow eye. It's so sunshine inspired. Definitely spring appropriate or even summer appropriate. You can definitely build up the impact when you combine all the shades that are within this yellow gold metallic story. And I'm really happy with the purple. Combining the different tones, whether it's more lavender periwinkle or more of that deeper purple, they all just combine beautifully together. And I think you can rely on that technique when you don't know what to do. Just combine all the shades that resemble each other, right? You stick with the pinks and the purples, the reds and the coppers, the greens and the blues. You could skip around. Like one time I think I did like red on the top and purple on the bottom, right? You could definitely combine it in that way. Perhaps a less intimidating way to approach this palette is to start with combining all the like shades, and then you could get into mixing and matching. Back into the lipsticks, looking at 18-month expiration date, I believe, on all of these. The next one is Rose Oasis. Look at the yellow. A fiery rose between fuchsia and magenta. I believe this is a satin finish. 43 Satiné Rose Oasis. Of course, you have Hermès imprinted on the bullet. Magnetic cap. The Luxe is just too much for me, fam. And lastly, we have Corail Aqua. These shades, I just cannot. The bright luminescence of intense vermilion. The tone of this lipstick paired with the turquoise base. I just can't take it next to Rose Oasis. Yes, definitely more pink from Rose Oasis, more coral from Corail Aqua. And then, of course, you have the beige. I think this is a pretty good release for a limited spring. Enjoy the fact they went satin with it because I think satin is a little more appropriate for spring, summer. People want a little, gloss and shine on the lip. Let's see Rose Oasis. Rose Oasis is pretty. It's not the most pigmented. I went over my lips a couple of times. You could see the top part of my lip show through. Not terrible. I like the lightweight nature of it. I also just like how much glide it has and how easy it is to apply on the lip. This is like a true watermelon color for me. It's a little neon, but not too intimidating. This is a lot of fun. This is like a super summer fresh look. Corail. Put this thing to good use, you know what I'm saying? Again, the pigmentation, I would think moderate, right? This is not like super in your face, but I just love the tone of the color. And I kind of like it because sometimes I feel with super pigmented lipsticks, like I have to commit. I really have to commit, especially if it's matte or like a liquid type of a texture, to reapply it. I feel like I need to do it right. or else I'll get beyond the lines and it looks weird. Not with this texture of the lipstick, the satin from Hermès. So here are all three. I just adore the colorways, and each has like a different tone. Like this is more brown, this is more like a gray beige, this is more like a brown beige. Like, where am I going to put these? I don't even want to use them. They're so beautiful. And lastly, the Brilliant Poppy, the Poppy Lip Shine. This is not limited. This is, I believe, in their permanent collection. But look at the metallic ring on the component. This, I believe, has like sparkle, but it's more like a balm. You know what this reminds me of? Fuego Flush. The Fuego Flush Fenty Beauty Cream Blush. This is more like a balm. I don't want to take this off. You know what? I'll put this on. I'll take a photo with it and I'll post it somewhere. I'll let y'all know, okay? Right now, I'm feeling the Corail Aqua. I'm feeling it. Whew, that was a lot. I know I only did 4 looks with the Prismic palette. I hope it lended you some inspiration. I would love to know how you've been using it, what color combinations you've been doing, what your thoughts are on the textures. I do enjoy the matte. I enjoy the mattes more than the glitter formula. The glitter formula, I could see what they were trying to do. Definitely, I feel more appropriate for topping purposes. Like, even though the base color might be prominent when you see it in the pan, but once you apply it, it just is so lightweight that I feel I would rely on the metallic shades first to get the fuller color impact, and then I'll go in with the more glittery shades to maybe shift the tone a little bit. If I wanted a little more light or what have you, have that twinkle, then I will go in with the glitter shades after, post applying the matte and the metallics. But again, I think the mattes for me are my favorite because they're so colorful, but I feel they're approachable to use in terms of the texture and the blend. And the Yano Series eye brushes, what can I say? I wasn't expecting anything less. I am so in love with the face set that I'm happy they came out with the eye one. Do I wish they included a more traditional shader brush? Sure, I can make the number 9 work. You know, it's a flatter, fluffier, where is it? It's flatter and fluffier. It's not going to pick up as much as a more traditional shader brush does, but I'll work with it, and I'll just work it with shadows like, for instance, the Dior Quince or even the Suku Quads. I think those are more appropriate to use with this type of a brush or this type of an eye set period, because it's mostly gray squirrel, softer washes of color, more veil-like finishes on the eyes. And the Hermès lipsticks, what can I say? I am thrilled that I splurged on an Hermès lipstick. All 3 of them, I'm happy that I got. I mean, the construction of these lipsticks, just exquisitely incomprehensible. I cannot take it. They just look beautiful. They feel heavy. They feel luxe. The shades included in this limited release, I think, spot on. And dare I say, I know we ain't going anywhere right now, but I'll take the photos. I'll do what it takes to wear these lipsticks more often. I'll wear it under the mask just to know that I have an Hermès lipstick on. It's enough for me. I'll deal with it. I will see you in the comments, fam. Let me know what you have picked up from this video or recently, what you've been loving, not loving. Can't wait to see you there. And until then, that is a wrap. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope this video helped. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and maybe consider subscribing to my channel. And until then, I will see you on here again with another review tutorial, eyeshadow palette, brush set, lipstick extravaganza, monthly favorites, or nightly live chit chat soon. I know I'm late. I'll be right there. Take care, and I'll see you again soon.